What is up, traders? My name is Chris, and welcome back to today's recap of the NASDAQ 100 futures. And if you've been following along for the last couple of days, you already know we're not here to guess. We're here to map market structure with precision, and today's session gave us the perfect opportunity to showcase what happens when you have the right tools at the right time. Because right out of the gate, guys, the market said, we're going up, we're going north. No hesitation, just straight trend mode, clean, sharp, and explosive. And guess what? PureMO nailed the momentum shift with zero lag. CYMO confirmed the structure instantly. And if you weren't dialed in, that was your cue to write it early. If you were dialed in, that definitely was your cue. Could have gotten early, write it, and you would have wrote it smart, guys. No guessing, no second guessing, just clear, actionable signals from the dynamic duo that you know and love, okay? But as every experienced trader knows, markets don't trend forever. And today, after the initial rip, we had Cycle Fest 2025. It began, right? Price started chopping and going sideways, pulling traders in and spitting them out. But not us, guys, okay? We brought in Scalp Mode to work alongside CYMO on the lower time frames, capturing clean rotations, while most traders were just getting chopped to pieces. So when you get structure plus cycle, that means confidence, guys, even in messy environments like today, okay? Right after the rip. So we're going to see how this played out. There's a couple of charts I'll be showcasing. We're going to do this 2-minute on this trend chart that I've got right here on the screen right now. And then we're going to look at how it played out on a 5-minute chart as well to ensure yourselves that you are looking at this correctly going into the trade with full confidence right out of the gate in the morning, okay? So let's go ahead and run this bad boy back at 10 times the speed of the market, and we'll see how it shook out. Sounds good? All right, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go, guys, all right? This little timer here on the right will begin at exactly 9:30, right at the gate when the market opened, and it'll just continue till about midday today. All right, so let's see how that all played out. And I'll kind of be pausing it along the way to kind of give you guys a little more color and perspective. I don't want you to miss any important areas that might be important to you, and I just don't want to gloss over everything so fast that it's hard to register, okay? So I'll be stopping it to kind of give you perspective as to how things develop, all right? So here we go. First bar of the day right there. Look at this bad boy right here. You talk about volatility, my goodness. And Mike, welcome back, and here is your entry.
Order filled.
Right there, guys, all right? Right there, right out of the gate. Second bar going in, okay? Now, why did we get into this trade? Okay, let me go ahead and pause it right there. This might be a good place to stop and reflect, okay? Couple of reasons why we would have taken this trade to the upside, guys, okay? First of all, let's go ahead and grab our 5-minute chart and bring it right here to the screen, all right? This is the 5-minute chart right here. Now, what's happening here on the 5-minute chart, okay? Now, let's go ahead and slow it down and look at it carefully, okay? If you notice, the market was cycling. Price was inside the VWAP the previous day, okay? That's the first thing you look at. What was price doing the previous day? It was cycling. Look at this. Hit the top of the VWAP right here, made an about face, came down, hit the bottom support level right here, came all the way back up, smack daddy resistance, and came back down again right there, all right? So it was definitely cycling. That's what it was doing right before the market opened, okay? So if you see that right there and you notice the sine wave right here with CYMO, okay? Remember that sine waves turn into trends and trends turn back into sine waves, which are cycles, all right? So right here, what do we have with CYMO right out of the gate? Well, we've got momentum rising, cycle all the way down right here, okay? And if momentum is this far up, okay, right here at this threshold on top, okay, what's the likelihood? Think of this for a second, okay? What's the likelihood of what could potentially happen with cycle. If cycle already ran its full course all the way down here on the 5-minute chart, which direction do you suppose cycle is going to go once it turns? Okay. You wouldn't take the trade early if you had a different combination right here of signals of what's going on between the 5-minute and the 2-minute chart. Okay. So yeah, silent noise, hit it right. If it's all the way down at the bottom, what goes down must go up, guys. Okay. So if you have conflicting signals, for example, in the 5-minute and the 2-minute, that's a warning sign not to take any trades. Okay. Today, though, the bot said, hey, listen, the market might rip, and that's exactly what you see right here, okay? And this is the first bar of the day right here. And so, you know, you can always wait for the second bar just to get confirmation and then really take the trade in the direction that you're hoping, okay? But right here, you've got momentum up, cycle all the way to the bottom. This can only go up right here. So we'll put this aside for a second and come back here to your 2-minute time frame chart, where we got into the trade right there. Now, what gave us confidence, okay, after looking at that 5-minute to take this trade to the long side? One, you had cycle right here, rise above the 0 line at the second bar, which is where I took that entry right there. And you also had momentum, which was above the 0 line too, okay? That's good as well, okay? You definitely want momentum above the 0 line right there. In addition to that, okay, you had PureMO right here, which also went above the gray box and definitely took off, and it's now in this little zone right here that we like to call exhaustion, okay? It's a little exhaustion zone right here. Let's see how this plays out for better context, okay? So there we go. Momentum and cycle are both rising right there, which is not bad. We're kind of in this exhaustion zone right here, which is really, you know, where price is just, it's pushed up the best that it can right there, and it's still going. If we look, however, and I'll go ahead and pause this here for just a second, because now we just had about 3 bars since I made my last comment right here. If I bring back that 5-minute chart, look at what's happening right here, guys, okay? Second bar of the day, you had an about face right here with PureMO, okay, right there. Look at this, just went right up above the yellow line, and you've got momentum also rising really strong right there, and you've also got cycle doing what? Going up, okay? This is telling you that there is a little more left to that trade to the upside. So let's see how it all shakes out here. So you got a little cyclic crossing right there. You know, if you were very risk averse, this might be a very good spot for you to take the trade off. Looking at the 5-minute though, there was a little bit more meat on the bone on this trade. So if you wanted to wait for cycle to actually come down and cross the 0 line, you can as well, okay? No harm, no foul doing that. You could take profit right there, okay? Right when it crosses the yellow line, they kiss goodbye. That's it. This was probably the strongest part of the trade right there, and right there, let me show you, okay, this with cycle, let me just point this out right there, crossing at the 0 line, and the pink line getting right there, right close to the gray box, is a very, very good point to potentially take your exit and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take the first leg of the trade off. If the pink line happens to go back above the yellow line and gets me in for the second leg of the trade, then awesome, right? That's just kind of icing on the cake right there. But if you want to be risk averse, like I know a lot of you guys need to be because you're with prop firms, and it's also just common sense. Hey, you want to be risk averse when you trade, right? You don't want to be a cowboy every time. you know, this might not be a bad place to take your trade off smack
Order
daddy
filled.
right there, okay? And you'd be done and you'd be golden right there. Now, a couple of things could happen, okay? Let's think forward, guys, okay? You're right here, you're looking at this chart. You clearly know it's in trend mode because it's way up here. Remember, it doesn't end trend mode until it actually goes back inside the bands, right? But there's two scenarios that can happen here if you're trading this, okay? One of them is you're looking here at the chart and you're going, all right, hot dog, all right? I know we had cycle number one. Cycle number one began here and ended here. And now, all of a sudden, it appears that momentum might potentially pull price up, right? So follow my thinking, guys. If momentum pulls price up, what could potentially happen with cycle right here? Okay, so momentum continues pulling price up. We know that cycle is going to have another rotation to begin cycle 2 and end cycle 2 to confirm the end of the trend. Exactly, turn up, okay? So that's the first probability, right? So you got two probabilities. Either momentum continues going up, cycle does an about face, begins cycle 2, comes down, and this bad boy just continues ripping higher, okay? That's one probability right there. And what's the second probability? Okay? The second probability, guys, is that doesn't happen and momentum fades and comes down, okay? The purple line never goes up above the yellow line and price goes right back into the bands and the trade ends up burning out, okay? Mid-journey. That's the second probability that could potentially happen, all right? So let's go ahead and see which of those two probabilities actually held weight in today's session. And also, guys, look at this, okay? The cycle component, I'm going to go ahead and stop it there. The cycle component perfectly got you out of that trade right before the trend ended right here. Now, remember I told you guys, the trend ends whenever price goes right back into the threshold right here, okay? And it went right back into the threshold right there, okay? CYMO right here at the crossing of the zero line perfectly got you out right there, smack daddy, guys. Very close to the top, as close to the top as you can possibly
Wow, did you
get.
see that? That's what you call precision.
That's exactly what it is, guys. That is precision trading right there, all right? Now, price rolls back in right there, okay? This is technically the end of the trend right there. All we need to make sure is that we have confirmation with momentum once it falls over that that is indeed the case, okay? And let's see what happens. And there you go. Here's your confirmation right here, guys, okay? So we had two probabilities when we turned this up, okay? Probability number one is that momentum would continue rising and we would get a second cyclic rotation to the upside, which would pull price up. The second probability, guys, is that price would fizzle out and come back in and the trend would end right here with momentum coming down right there and price going in with this bar right here, okay? I don't know if you could see it, but it's this first red bar. I'll put a little arrow on it. Right there, okay? This red bar right there, okay? The trend ended. And as soon as price went into this channel, the trend ended. The only thing you were waiting for is confirmation of momentum falling off the top right here to confirm that, yep, this bad boy is not going to continue its trajectory to the upside, all right? And that's really, really important, guys, to help you understand where the rotations are happening in price. We had two probabilities. The first probability didn't play out the way we initially thought, okay? And the second probability did play out with price going right back into the channel and completely ending the trend. Regardless, cycle number one perfectly nailed the move to the upside and got you out with surgical precision, guys, right there, okay? So at this phase, okay, you're looking at your chart and you're going like, okay, great. Either I missed this because I didn't have the right tools, or I caught a portion of this and I'm pretty happy, right? Those are the two possible outcomes right there. But what happens moving forward? Now all of a sudden price rolls back into the channel, okay? Are you going to continue using this chart right here? Just drop it in the comment box, guys. You guys see this every day. Now that price rolled back into the channel, what are you going to do? No cycling. Yeah, the cycling chart, okay? J Money says short, possibly. Okay, scalp mode time. That's right, Age. Scalp mode time. You check scalp mode. That's right, Silent Noise. That's exactly what you do. You don't want to use a trend chart to try to capture these short cyclic rotations in price, because the tunings that you have set up right here are designed to capture these nice, strong shifts in price to the upside or to the downside when the market is really moving, when it's trending. That's exactly what the setup is designed to do, right? So all of a sudden, yeah, you change, CYMO to 7, and there you go. If you have a separate chart, then you use the second chart to see exactly what the market is going to do next, and you switch over to that chart, and that's exactly what we're going to do right here, guys. All right, we're going to go ahead and see if we can get my other chart right here. And I'll bring it down, and here we go. Now we've got we've got scalp mode here on the screen, and apparently my lines just disappeared, you know. You guys know that this little twitch with NinjaTrader right there, and every time we put it on playback mode, it always just happens to delete my lines, you know. So give me a second, guys. Let me go ahead and add them back here again. I know it's kind of annoying to do this mid-session, but this is just the way NinjaTrader is set up right here, okay? So, all right, got that line right there, and I think I might need a couple more down here just to give it a little bit more context, make it look good for you guys, and we'll go ahead and continue the recap. Just give me a sec, guys. Alrighty, I think we've got all the lines that I need to have on there, and let's go ahead. So now we're back in cycle territory right here, guys. And if we're in cycle mode, okay, what I want to see, okay, are the rotations right here to help me get in and out of all of these nice little cyclic rotations that could potentially, make us some money. All right, and we'll see exactly how this plays out right here, and if there are any opportunities right here on this chart for us to capitalize on. So let's go ahead and continue running this. I got my execution chart right there. All right, I think I've got everything back in order the way I need to right here, guys. Let's go ahead and replay it. All right, there we go. Yeah, it's a known issue with NinjaTrader. It's really annoying, especially when you're on on a recap. It's one of those things, you know. These indicators, J Money, are only available on the NinjaTrader platform, and you can get all the details on them from the link in my bio. That's where I've got them set up. So just click the link in my bio, and you'll find all the details right there in that link. Alrighty, guys, a couple of things that I want to mention to you, and I'll just go ahead and pause it real quick right here that I think is important, okay? Whenever you guys see, hang on, let's see, I got a question here. Live issues, I know, right? Hey, Chris, I noticed that if I move the time a little bit forward or back on play, the lines return. Oh, really? Okay, that's a good observation, Age. I will go ahead and look into that after we get off the live stream and see if that actually helps improve, if it shows some type of improvement with the lines. Appreciate you pointing that out, man. Absolutely. It didn't the same, Mike. It works for more current days. Okay. All right. That's a very good perspective. All right, guys. Here's something else that I want to share with you guys as well. Okay. And this is an observation I want you guys to pay attention. This is important, okay? Normally, when you've got two versions of the VWAP right here, which we do on the chart, okay? Normally, when price ends up hitting this green VWAP, okay, right there, so you saw price, it kind of ripped up right here, came back down, and it hit this green VWAP right here. My observation has been, okay, from the time that I've been running this VWAP and looking at it since we developed it, is that normally price tends to bounce off this VWAP, okay? Price doesn't end up doing anything unless it actually goes below this green VWAP right here, regardless if it's the dashed green VWAP or the solid green VWAP down here at the bottom. The reaction is the same. So you have to be aware of this, okay? Because if you're trading and you're trying to get into a trade and you see a rollback and it hits this green VWAP like this, there's a very high probability that price is just going to bounce back a little bit or stall on you until it actually breaks below the green VWAP right here. And that goes for this one and this one right there in the chart. If you guys go back on your chart and look at this, and let me kind of give you the settings. This is set at 80 and 8, okay? Now yours will have another setting right here. It'll say 1. I'm running the older version because I just don't want to deal with having to have a third line on the chart and making it transparent, okay? But it's the same one that you guys have right there. So if you go back on your chart and you look at where price has touched that green line, either the top one or the green or the solid one at the bottom, it will invariably always bounce at that point or stall. So if you're looking at this and all of a sudden price is coming down and hits this VWAP right here and it just kind of stalls, that's the reason why. It's stalling right there. And unless it actually gets below this green VWAP, guys, I'd exercise a lot of caution in using these tools down here to ensure that price is really going to move in the direction that you hope, okay? Let's go ahead and continue. So there we go. You got price right there kind of stalled out at the VWAP, okay, at this green one, and we're here at the support level as well, okay? And here's another thing that I want you guys to notice real quick, okay? You notice here how everything is just kind of going sideways, all right? There's no movement in the cyan line. There's no movement here with the purple line. It's just going sideways, guys, okay? This is very indicative that there is no acceleration in price because that's what the purple line measures, acceleration, to let you know that there is anything to take in either direction. So you got to be careful. Alrighty, so this bad boy is not doing anything. It's just kind of stuck right here between that green line and resistance. Support right there. So it's not really going anywhere. But now this bad boy ended up moving here to the downside.
Order
so
filled.
Let's see if we maybe take a cowboy trade right there, see where that goes. Okay. I took that because cycle's coming down right there, and I took that because the purple line right here was already there, okay? Oh boy, that thing probably is not going to go anywhere.
Order filled.
So let me see, I'll go ahead and just scalp that right there real quick and get out. This hit the base support right there, and you had a crossing right there of the cyan and purple line right there, guys. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go ahead and just take that off. But here's something else. Now we're here at the bottom, okay? And now that we're here at the bottom, and we've got cycle crossed above the 0 line right there. Okay, that is definitely
Order
a buy
filled.
signal right there, guys. okay? Right there, look at that. And you've also got momentum following through right there, and you've got a purple line above the 0 line, and you've got inflection point right there going up. And so let's see where this ends. Okay, now check this out. Here's something else that's important, all right? You took that. Beauty. Absolute beauty, Johnny. Congrats, buddy. Beautiful. Awesome trade, man. So here's a pivotal point that's important, okay? You're looking at your chart. Hot dog, man. You're like up $1,700 on this trade. You know, your heart's beating and you're like, holy crap, I don't want to lose a $1,700 trade, you know? And I perfectly understand that, guys. There's a couple of exits that you might consider when you're up about this much, okay? If you absolutely get nervous and you absolutely must get out of your trade, you can clip the trade right here, okay? As soon as the purple line comes below the 0 line, you can get out right there. But there's something else that's more important that I really want to turn your attention to right now. If you notice the purple line just crossing below the cyan line actually just came up above the gray box, okay? And if the cyan line just came up above the gray box, this is telling you that there is strong movement in price, okay? You see the cyclic rotation right here? Cyan came up above the 0 line. You had momentum following through to the upside, okay? So what are the probabilities? There's 2 probabilities that could happen right here in this trade. And there's always 2 probabilities, guys, okay? And here's what they are. So the first probability is you get a cyclic rotation right here, okay? Cyan line crosses, kisses goodbye with the yellow line, comes down. That's naturally likely to happen, okay? But what's likely to happen with the yellow line, okay? That's where the first probability is going to give you an answer, okay? Is the yellow line going to follow suit with the cyan line? Is it going to follow it just the way it did right here? You see that? Okay. Is it going to turn into a cycle trade where everything stops and comes right back down? That's the first probability. The second probability is the yellow line going to go up above the red threshold and continue pulling price up? Well, let me tell you how to distill that in a way that can give you a very clear clue as to what might happen next, okay? And it's right here, guys, okay? If you notice this cyan line right here going above the gray box, this is a clear tell sign that there's a very strong likelihood, or a good likelihood, probably over 80%, that this yellow line is going to continue its trajectory to the upside, okay? So rather than just kind of waiting around to see what's going to happen here with CYMO, you can spot it early right here when this cyan line crosses above the threshold, okay? Now, if you're angsty and you're nervous, I get it, and you want to get out of the trade, like I said, you can clip it here. As soon as the purple line crosses the cyan line, take your money, call it a day. You're not going to go broke by taking a $1,700 profit. But here's what happens, okay, in case you decide to stay in that trade, all right? We'll let this play out, and we'll let it play out until the cyan line kind of comes a little bit closer to this inflection point right here, okay? All right, now all of a sudden the cyan line came all the way inside of the red threshold on top right here, guys. This is telling you that now you have movement in price. Now look at what happened right here. Let me just pause it for a sec. Look what happened right here with the yellow line. Remember, we were thinking in terms of probabilities, all right? We said probability number 1, the yellow line does an about face right here and comes right back down, and that is the end of the move, okay? Probability number 2, the yellow line continues its trajectory to the upside the way it did right here, okay? And it continues pulling price up just a little more, okay? And what was the early signal that gave you a clue as to whether probability 1 or 2 would play out? This right here, okay? The cyan line going above this gray threshold right there gave you the clue that price was likely to continue rising, okay? So that's a little nuance there, guys, that I hope you caught, and that right there would make a big difference in a $1,700 trade to a $4,000 win, okay? Now right here, look, it's coming off the top, and normally when it comes off the top, guys, this is probably a good time to pull the trigger
filled.
and take your trade, okay? Right there, the moment it just came off that top part, okay? That's telling you that, hey, it swung all the way, it's exhausted, and I'm taking my money right there. Look at that, okay? Smack daddy right there at the top. And now cycle and momentum are both falling right there. Isn't that amazing? Okay. So again, guys, this caught it early, okay? This, the moment that it came off the top right there, guys, told you, hey, you know what? It's probably time to take that trade off.
Wow, did you see that? That's what you call precision.
And that's the difference right there, guys, between taking a $1,700 winner and taking the trade that's probably over $3,500 right there in profits, okay, to the upside. So this is a little bit of a nuance right there that's important for you guys to know and understand when you're using a cyclic chart like this, all right? And like I said just a moment ago, guys, you're not going to go broke taking a $1,700 profit here. If that's your forte, go for it. But if you want a little bit more meat on the bone, okay, you kind of wait for this bad boy to roll over, and the moment it kind of comes down right there, you're done. Okay, you are done. Okay, right there. So let's go ahead and continue. Dark Trader, I think you're in the wrong room, man. I think you want somebody, you know, trading ICT concepts, dude. And we'll go ahead and let this bad boy shake out a little bit and see if there are any other opportunities that you could have taken to the downside right here, okay? Alrighty, we've got CYMO all the way at the top. We've got this bad boy right here, potentially going down, okay? If I'm going to take a trade to the downside, I at least want to see this right there.
Order filled.
Going down right there, guys, okay? What goes up must come down right there, okay? This bad boy's coming down. You've got this going down to the downside as well, okay? And there you go right there. All right, we'll see how this plays out. I'm using a 2-minute time frame to execute these trades. And I'm using NinjaTrader. And these tools here, you can find them on the link in my bio. That's probably the easiest way to find these tools, is on the link in my bio, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and stop it here for a sec, guys, okay? You're already up 1,800 bucks, all right? No harm, no foul, guys, in getting out of the trade the moment that this bad boy right here goes above the zero line right there, okay? But notice something right here as well, okay? Just real quick. You just had momentum come all the way down below the threshold right there. And what's that telling you, okay? This here is telling you guys that price is likely gonna continue moving down, okay? At least we hope, okay? So let's go ahead and see how this happens, and perhaps we might be able to take the trade off, okay, at the end of the cycle as soon as it rolls over right here. So let's see what happens with that. Okay, so you're right here, right smack daddy on the line right there. I wouldn't mind at this point
order filled,
just pulling the trigger and taking profit off right there, okay? Remember, guys, you're using this chart to scalp. the NASDAQ 100 futures, you know, and you're going to get nice little swings like this, okay, where you could have gotten out right here, but you got a little bit more meat on the bone just by waiting for the cycle to come up right there. No problem in doing that, guys, right there, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and that was actually not a bad trade right there.
Wow, did you see that? That's what you call precision.
I hope you guys like the sound effects. If you guys could think of some other cool sound effects, definitely let me know. All right, here we go, guys. Look what happened in price right there. Nothing. It hit the bottom VWAP right there, bounced right back up, guys, and that was the end of it right there, okay? This is what precision trading looks like on the 2-minute chart of the NASDAQ 100 using the cycle component of the chart right here and using these tools right here to time your entries and exits, all right? Now, let's go ahead and just pause it there for a second so you guys can see. These charts will be posted on the chart recap channel of our Discord today, okay? And this is also being recorded, and it would also be it's also going to be uploaded to our YouTube channel. I got a few videos that we're in the process of uploading, and these videos you guys can play back and learn, and it really just helps to fine tune your skills, guys, and getting in and out of some of these trades. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about you. If you sat through today, guys, wondering when to enter, if you got faked out, whipsawed, or just outright frustrated, then ask yourself why. Because the truth is, if you've been watching these tools, if you've been seeing the precision, okay, you know they work. Yet, somehow, you are still here, still on the fence. All right? You get 7 days free, 0 excuses, guys, okay? You get CYMO Pro for market structure. You get PureMO for momentum, which was on the other chart. You get this bad boy right here, which is ScalpMO, to really help you time the cyclic entries and exits. This is designed for scalpers right here, okay? This bad boy is absolutely free. You also get the dynamic VWAP up here to help you stay out of, areas that might not be good for you to get in or out. And you also get our daily briefing bot so that you know what kind of day it is before the market bell even rings, okay? Plus, we give you 2 free private one-on-one setup sessions to get you dialed in fast, guys. It's all yours for 7 days, no cost, no catch. Okay? Links in my bio. Take the trial, guys. I'll go ahead and stop it there and kind of read a little bit some of the remarks, because the rest of the day, guys, was pretty much like this. All right?